On behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the Government of Kenya, we feel honored and privileged to have successfully hosted the 2024 Africa Development Bank annual meetings during an important time in its history that is marking its 60th anniversary. It is now my honor to declare the 59th annual meetings of the Board of Governors of the African Development Bank and the 50th annual meetings of the Board of Governors of the African Development Fund officially closed. I thank you all. The financial architecture we advocate today for Africa should strongly integrate the most challenging development issues of debt sustainability and climate vulnerabilities while enabling the continent to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2063 commitments. I am happy to note that the bank's vision for the continent, underpinned through the high fives, strategies, and the objectives of the newly adopted 10-year strategy 2024 to 2033, provide important basis towards the achievement of these critical continental objectives. The escalating debt burden, compounded by effects of climate change and the pressure to unwind these effects in readiness for economic transformation, is critical to provide affordable and concessional long-term financing. The imperative for a strong replenishment of the 17th cycle of the African Development Fund of US$ 25 billion cannot be overstated. This will complement support from the International Development Association, IDA, the World Bank's concessional window, in supporting the low-income countries. To support this call, the Government of Kenya, as you have already heard, has committed to contribute US$ 20 million to the African Development Fund. We therefore call upon shareholders of the bank to deliver the ambition of a strong ADF. The engagement of the heads of state and government in the presidential dialogues, high-level plenary sessions for the launch of the bank's flagship publication, the 2024 Africa Economic Outlook, and the thematic knowledge events underscores the critical role of both technical and political goodwill in the transformation of our economies. The theme also resonated well with the need to reform the global financial architecture to be responsive to the needs of developing countries. The envisaged economic transformation in the continent requires substantial resources to be achieved. However, the global financial architecture, as currently structured, may not be adequately aligned to deliver on the required resources. This is why Africa is rooting for a financial model which shall ensure that countries have fair and significant access to affordable and long-term concessional resources in order to close the financing gap and realize the envisaged social and economic transformation.
We should work to ensure better valuation of the green wealth of Africa and its inclusion in the gross domestic product, GDP, of the continent, so Africa moves away from being nature-rich and being cash-poor to being nature-rich and wealthy green. There was consensus that to achieve Africa's structural transformation, there's need to focus on improving the macroeconomic environment, domestic resource mobilization, improving tax collection, digitalization, formalization of the informal sector, tackling illicit capital flows and corruption, and improving the capacity of countries to better negotiate taxes and royalties that are due to them from their own natural resources. Africa, we heard from President Paul Kagame, cannot afford to move slowly, and that the growth of Africa will feed the growth of the rest of the world.